In preparation for the holidays, it's critical that you plan in advance and that you're very strategic with being ahead of the curve and making sure that you're adding listings months in advance before Halloween comes and before Thanksgiving comes and before Christmas comes. Make sure you're adding listings for whatever holiday that it is at least 2 to 3 months far in advance. And I'll show you why you want to do this. Here on Google Trends, I'm going to search Halloween shirt. I can sort this by, let's say, the past 5 years, just so we can see when people start searching for Halloween shirts, for Halloween sweatshirts, or for whatever keyword that it is that we are selling or whatever product is that we're selling. So you'll see here a common trend. I will go back to 2021. There were very few searches in March, April, very few. Then May, things started to pick up. I guess the end of June, the beginning of July is when things started to spike. And then at the peak of here, so let's say the peak of Halloween, October 17th, and just past October 17th is when it peaks. So the idea here is making sure that you have your listings ready and that they're already starting to sell far before October. So ideally having listings starting to sell already in August. And you'll notice now on Etsy that things are already starting to sell for Halloween shirts, for Halloween sweatshirts, anything Halloween themed is already starting to sell. So if you aren't already creating designs for Halloween, I highly recommend getting started. And so that's for 2021, and the same trend in 2022. If things start to pick up in July, August, and then September, things start to really get going. And then beginning of October obviously is going to be the busiest time. And then if we look at 2023, we have the exact same thing happening here. And the idea is to be selling now so that you can rank on the first or second page and hopefully get the bestseller badge before the week out or 2 weeks out from Halloween. If you are prepared and you have your listings up and ready, you will be able to maximize your profits and make really good money on Etsy. Something that I've noticed here with people that struggle on Etsy and have a hard time really being able to see sales and to really have success on Etsy is people that are not niching down and really creating something unique enough and trend combining and making something that's different that stands out that people would want to buy. And so I want to show you an example of what you should not do for a Halloween design. This example here for a Halloween shirt, it's a very basic, simple design that just says Happy Halloween. And I can't stress enough that a design like this is not going to do nearly as well as if you were to trend combine and cross niche and incorporate several different trending elements and font styles, professions, hobbies, etc. That will do far better than creating a very simple design that just says Happy Halloween. So let's look at some examples of what you should be doing. So the first example I want to show you is cute retro Halloween shirts for nurses. This is the prime way, an ideal way to niche down and to go into other categories and to incorporate several things. These are examples that I'm showing you. I'm not saying go and copy these designs. Just get an idea of how you really create a unique design to be able to stand out. Because right now, Etsy is extremely saturated. There's so many sellers now on Etsy versus when in, let's say, 2019 or earlier. That doesn't mean you still can't have great opportunities and have great success. If you're willing to create something that's unique and different and stands out, buyers are going to buy it. Here's a great example. I'm a nurse. You can't scare me. Boo Boo Crew. And see, they're incorporating right now this checkered background does really well. It's popular across multiple niches. They have really cute elements, these cute pumpkins, and then this ghost with the nurse hat and the band-aid. A few other examples here. One Spooky Nurse, that's not a bad idea there. Labor and Delivery, Boo Crew, and again incorporating ghosts and cute elements that are currently selling well on Etsy. Another thing to do is figure out what's trending well in whatever niche it is that you're currently selling in, and then incorporate that in whatever holiday that you're going to design for. So let's say you sell a lot of shirts in the teacher niche or in the golfing niche or whatever it is, incorporate that into the holidays, and that's the best way to stand out and to really have great success. With the holidays, you have such a narrow window to really succeed. So you really have just 2 to 3 months to optimize your listings, to max out, and to get as many sales as possible. And the tricky part is you don't really know what's going to sell well until it's already selling. But by that time for the holidays, it's too late to really do anything. So you have to be ahead of the game. And what I've noticed in experience on Etsy since we've been selling for the past few years is things that did well in the previous year tend to carry over in the next year. So for example, this checkered board did really well last year, floral print did really well last year, retro theme did really well last year, and I can guarantee that's going to continue to do well in 2023. So those are things that you could start doing in your own store. Go and look at different shops, see what has a lot of sales, what performed well, and you can do that based on reviews and see how many reviews it has, because that's an indicator of sales, to really know what did well in the past and what you can incorporate in your own store now. There's a few different ways you can do your trend research. The first way is going to Etsy and just searching whatever keyword that it is that you're designing for. So we'll just do cute Halloween shirt. The first thing you can do is over on the right hand side, you can sort this either by relevancy, or you can sort it by most recent, top customer reviews, highest price, lowest price. The best ways to sort, I personally think, is either by most recent, meaning it has either recently sold or that it was recently listed, or top customer reviews. If you sort by top customer reviews, you're going to see the items that have sold and that have good engagement and have social proof. Another thing that you can do is scrolling through here and looking for best sellers that are performing well. And then you can click through on a listing. So let's try this one, for example. You'll click through on the listing. So this is a bestseller. So you know that this has a high sales volume over the past 6 months. And then what you can do is, if it has a bestseller badge, you know that it's selling well. And then next thing you'd want to do, up here at the top, it'll say in 20 plus carts. So showing that people have it added to their carts, that's an indicator that it's performing well and that people are buying it. And then lastly, coming down to the reviews, specifically reviews for this item, and then sort this by most recent. So when I sort this by most recent, you can see if they have reviews that it is selling well here. You'll see there's a lot of recent reviews already for this specific shirt. And I remember this one from last year. This one did really well last year. But already we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a ton of reviews already. That's an indicator that it's selling well. Another way that you can do your trend research is sorting specifically by bestsellers. So if I go over here to our filters, I can select all filters, and then I will scroll down here. And in the past, you were able to sort by bestsellers. They had a way to filter by bestsellers. That's no longer an option, but what you can do, a workaround for that, is select star seller and then select apply. So these are all shops that are star sellers. You'll see they all have the star seller badge. But a trick here that you can do is, instead of star seller, come up here to the URL and select where it says star seller, and then you will remove star and you will add best, and then you'll hit enter, and now the search results will only show you the best sellers. And something with this too, to make sure that you know that it's a bestseller, you have to ignore the rows that say add by. People are promoting those, so those aren't going to be the best sellers. Some of them could be, but not all of them will be. But the ones that do not have add by, you can click on them. So this example here, this is a bestseller. And then just to show you again, this one, it's a bestseller. So you can then go and spy on these shops that are performing well, never copying these designs. I want to be very clear here. I'm not showing this to go and copy the bestsellers, but it is to show you that you can see who is doing well, what they're doing, what type of design they're creating, what type of elements they're incorporating, what their SEO structure like. And the best way to really have success with anything in life is to spy on those that are doing better than you, and then to implement what they're doing in your own store, and to take notes and to learn from them, never copying, but just gain inspiration. It's a huge difference between plagiarism and inspiration. So you have to just be inspired by and create something your own. Because I can promise you, if you go and find one of these bestsellers that are doing really well and you just copy the exact design, any buyer is going to go and buy from a shop that has really good positive reviews and a lot of sales, more so than they're going to go and buy from a new shop like you if you're just to go and copy it. Another great way to do trend research, if you want to speed up this process, is by using the EverBee Chrome extension tool, which is just a plugin. They have a free version as well as a paid version, but what it does is it just automates this process for you, as well as gives you even more estimates that are very beneficial when doing trend research. So what I will do is, with my EverBee Chrome extension tool, you'll see it's over here on the left hand side. I'll select product analytics, and then after it loads that, I can go to any of these and I can sort it by whatever I want. So I can sort it by estimated monthly sales or estimated monthly revenue. So I'll sort by estimated monthly revenue. That's my favorite way to do it. So one of the top performing listings here is this example here, and it has done close to $9,000 in revenue in the last month already. But I love the EverBee Chrome extension tool because it gives you so much great information on price that they're selling it at, how many sales they're having, estimated monthly revenue, and then they have total sales, how many reviews they have, the listing age you'll see here, how many favorites. So this listing already has 20,000 favorites. It's 11 months old, so it's not extremely old. Average reviews, how many views it's getting, shop age. So as you saw there, if I click on on a listing. So I'll click on this listing and it'll just break it all down again for you. So we have all of the information here, which you do not get if you just do trend research the first way that I showed you. So that's one reason why I really love the EverBee Chrome extension tool. It really helps with the process, saves you time, which allows you to maximize your time and to put your time towards other things that allow you to make more money. So that's trend research, and that's such a huge factor in succeeding on Etsy. You have to do your trend research, figure out what's selling well, and figure out how to create your own unique versions of what's selling well in order to make sales. You may be wondering, how do you create a really nice design like you see here? There's a lot of great designs. I can guarantee that the majority of these sellers are not designers. They're just very talented at utilizing their resources and like design programs that allow them to access graphics and then to create one of their own graphics by incorporating several different fonts and graphics. And I'll show you what I mean. So one of my most favorite tools that we use is Creative Fabrica. So with Creative Fabrica, you can pay yearly, monthly, however you want to sign up. They always offer really great deals that you can sign up for, but they have a lot of great graphic packs, font packs that you can purchase that allows you to improve your designing skills and allows you to make some really high quality designs. So just for example, I will search here Halloween, some really great designs. So spooky, spooky, spooky teacher, spooky dude. And you'll notice a lot of these are very similar to the ones that you see on Etsy. So these are what I love on Creative Fabrica. You can buy these packs. So it looks like it's a pack of 20 with all sorts of different types of designs that you can use in your store. But what you can do is then go access these packs, download them, and you can use whatever elements that you want and create your own very unique design based on what's performing well. Something too I love with Creative Fabrica, if you're not familiar, you'll see that sometimes it'll say it's either good for commercial use or it's good for print on demand use. For commercial use, you have to add upon the design. You have to add text to it, add other elements. If it says good for print on demand use, you don't have to do anything at all. You can just use that design as is. But I do recommend always adding to any design you use off of Creative Fabrica, because there's a lot of people using Creative Fabrica. In order to stand out and to create something unique, you have to add to it and make it 100% your own. The options are endless with Creative Fabrica, so if you're not using it, I highly recommend it. And I have links to all of these things I'm talking about today in my description. And I'm sharing the things that we are currently using in our store and that we have success with. I just want you to know that it's things that I find value in, that it allows you to really scale your business and to do the best that you can on Etsy. Unless you're an amazing designer, I think it's critical to invest in yourself and your business by investing in design programs, because it allows you to create much higher quality designs than you could on your own. And I say that for myself just because I'm not a talented designer. My wife's far better than me. She does a lot of our designing, but even she uses a lot of these graphics and elements from these different design programs to help create something really unique and to stand out. So we talked about designing and what type of designs you need to create. We talked about how you create these high quality designs. Next is talking about products. So if you didn't see my most recent video, I did a video on the 6 best products to sell on Etsy. I've done a video on my 2 most favorite products to sell with Printify, and we primarily use Printify to fulfill all of our orders. They've been great for us, and we've had very little issues with them, and I can't recommend them enough. But let's talk about products here. So 2 of the best products to sell that we've had the most success with are t-shirts as well as sweatshirts. Mugs do really well. Blankets do well, makeup bags do well, as you saw in my previous video. But specifically for t-shirts, I want to walk you through some options that you have. So the Bella Canvas 3001 does extremely well for us. Our most favorite print provider to use for the Bella Canvas 3001 is either Monster Digital. It's going to be slightly cheaper than our other most favorite one, as well as Swift POD. And so you'll see here, they have a great review score. Their turnaround time is extremely fast. So 4 days is their shipping time. Average production time is 2 days. They have a lot of great color options, a lot of great size options. They do front and back print, and very similar to Swift POD as well. Average production time right now is half a day, so super fast. And their pricing is very competitive. And again, Swift POD has a lot of great color options. And remember, not all print providers are created equally. Do your research, figure out who is best. Just a simple search on the company, you can really know who does best. Printify is completely free. You don't have to pay to be able to use Printify. They have a free version as well as they have a paid version called Printify Premium. And what it does is just it reduces your costs. So if you sign up with Printify Premium here, you'll see instead of paying $11, you'll pay $9, With Swift POD for the Bella Canvas 3001, instead of paying close to $10, you'll pay $8.30. So it allows you to save some money and allows you to increase your profits. And it's 100% worth paying for Printify Premium, especially if you're selling more than one item a month. It'll pay for the subscription and sales and allow you to make more money. If you want to try out Printify Premium, I do have a link down in the description. You can check it out. And if you use code Brennan, just my name, Brenon, you'll get 30-day free trial. But if you don't want to sell the Bella Canvas 3001, it is a little more expensive. The Gildan 5000 is really popular, as well as the Gildan 64,000. It's a cheaper shirt. It's not as high quality, and I 100% recommend the 3001 over the Gildan. It's just a better made shirt, and customers love the 3001, but those are options and they're significantly cheaper. Another extremely popular shirt that does very well is Comfort Colors. It's been popular for several years now, and today it's still very popular. So you can use Comfort Colors as well. Printify has that option for you. So the next product to sell that does extremely well for Halloween and through Christmas and through Q4 is the Gildan 18500. So the hoodie does really well. Same print providers, I highly recommend. And you'll see here with sweatshirts is when Printify Premium becomes extremely valuable. So instead of paying $19, you only pay $14.50. So the 18500 I recommend selling. That will do very well all throughout the rest of the year. And then the next best product that I recommend, it sells year round, honestly. It does well for us all year, but that's the Gildan 18000. So again, Monster Digital, recommend using them, or Swift POD. So those are products that do well. If you want to sell mugs, those continue to do well. We haven't sold much mugs in our shop. We just focused on clothing, but mugs do sell well. And with this topic too, is you should be experimenting as much as you can on Etsy, especially if you're doing print on demand, because your options are endless on what products you can sell. And if a product doesn't sell well, you're not out any money or anything. You're just out a little bit of time of creating that listing. But you can experiment. And then once you find a product that does well, you can double down on it and just run with it. And that's what we did in our shop at the beginning of time. We sold everything from wall art to mugs to you name it. We sold it. Stickers, clothing, but then clothing did really well for us. So we just ran with clothing, and now we primarily sell clothing. But what works for me may not work for you. So experiment. That's the best way to succeed on Etsy. So quickly, this mug does really well as these do well. Another really cool mug that Printify offers here. Here we go, color morphing mugs. So it changes color based on temperature of the water or a beverage that you have in it. Another thing I wanted to mention is embroidery. Embroidery is extremely popular right now. And unfortunately with Printify, you can't embroider on clothing, but you can embroider on hats. So if you want to experiment, this is something that I'm considering in our own shop right now, is experimenting with hats. So they have a lot of different options, but for the fall time, experimenting with these knit beanies. And then they also have these pom-pom beanies. So you can create some really cool embroidery designs that you could sell in your own store, and embroidery is extremely popular and does very well on Etsy. Options are endless. You'll see on the catalog, you can sell literally anything. Don't limit yourself, just experiment and see what does well for you. But to sum up this section that we're talking about, I highly recommend Bella Canvas 3001 and the Gildan 18000. And my main print providers to use on Printify is either Swift POD or Monster Digital. We know the designs to make, we know what products to sell, and now here's a huge part of really having success on Etsy, and that is the importance of creating high quality listings. With creating a high quality listing, you need to focus on the big three. And I'm going to break this down here. So the first one is focusing on high quality mockups that are very professional and stand out and look really good. The next of the big three is proven SEO. And then the last of the big three is including all of the necessary information that a customer would need to know. So let's break these down. So mockups first. That's the best way to be able to stand out on Etsy. For those of you that are just using your print provider's mockups, I can't stress enough the importance of investing in mockups just because they look so much better than the print provider's mockups. So you'll search whatever product it is and whatever color it is that you're looking for, and then there's all sorts of different mockup options to choose from. There's a lot of shops now on Etsy who offer mockups, but you can purchase these mockups from anywhere between 99 cents and $7. And you'll start to find some that you like more than others. But when it comes to mockups, it's so important that you focus on a few things to decide what mockup you should purchase. So the first one is making sure that the hair is out of the way. So this is a great example here. The hair is out of the way. It'd be very easy to add your design. Next is making sure that they're simple and clean. So this is a great example that the focus is on your design and there's not a lot of extra things in the background that distract you from the design. And then lastly, making sure that the shirt is true to color. So you'll notice a lot of mock-up shops, they like to add these heavy filters, which it makes it look good, but unfortunately, it makes the shirt not true to color, which in result leads to unhappy customers. So I can't stress enough how important it is to buy mock-ups that are true to color and to not use ones that are heavily filtered, because when your customer receives their product and it looks much different in color than what the actual product is, you'll have very unhappy customers. And that is the best way to really kill your store, because reviews play such a huge impact on the success of your shop. If you want to check out our mockup shop, it's called Malama Mocks. I have a link in the description. It's just a way to support our channel and to support the information that I share with you. But there's a lot of great options out there. So feel free to check out whoever you want to check out. But we do have a shop. We have a lot of great Halloween mockups as well as Christmas mockups. Last thing too, if you want to save money on mockups, a lot of mockups offer bundle discounts. So you can buy either their whole shop, or you can buy X amount, or you can build your own bundle, and it will allow you to save a lot of money on mockups, as well as allow you to get whatever mockups it is that you want. For example, on our shop, we allow you to build your own bundle where you can get 30% off if you buy 10, 50% off if you buy 20, etc. If you want to build your own bundle, you can do that and save a lot of money. We're now moving on to the number 2 of big 3. That's proven SEO. It really just comes down to using keywords that a buyer would use to search your product. So for example, if you're selling a t-shirt in the nurse niche, you would use something as simple as cute nurse sweatshirt for women. It's as simple as that, using keywords that would connect your keyword or your product with the buyer. Other ways to come up with keyword ideas, let's jump to Christmas. Just for the sake of Christmas, we'll do cute nurse sweatshirt. Any listings that are showing up on the first page, when you sort this by most recent, have either recently sold or it's a new listing. But if it's on the first page, you know that it's performing well because Etsy is going to promote whatever sells well, because when the seller makes money, Etsy makes money. And so for them to make more money, they promote the listings that do well. And so what I would do for keyword research is I would go to the top performing listings on the first page, and then I would select the listing and then go here and study their keywords that they have for their title. And so here they have a lot of different keywords, but this is a great example. They're targeting whoever this shirt is for, and then you can take several different keywords from these top performing listings, never copying one individual listing, but build your own SEO out by looking at a handful of different top performing listings and then using those keywords in your own title. You don't want to overcomplicate keyword research. It's pretty simple. It's just thinking like a buyer and using keywords that they would search for. And you also have to make sure you're using long tail keywords, so not just nurse sweatshirt. That's such a generic and broad keyword. You want to be very targeted, very specific. Also, make sure you're front loading your title. So for your first few keywords here, I would make sure that those are your most important keywords and the ones that you want to rank for. They're most heavily weighted, so make sure you're front loading your title and your keywords there. Some other things with doing your keyword research is with the EverBee Chrome extension tool, they have a keyword research tool, which is great. It allows you to find some high performing keywords that have a large search volume. Other things I like to do with the EverBee Chrome extension tool is for whatever niche you're designing in, as I begin to type, it will auto-populate with other keywords that have been searched and that are popular on Etsy and that are relevant, as well as with the EverBee Chrome extension tool here, it will show you monthly searches for whatever keyword. So you'll see here Christmas ornaments has 5,800 monthly searches, etc. as you go down here. But just another great way to come up with great keywords for your listing. So I'll do sweatshirt, and as I type that in, it'll autofill again with different ideas. And you'll see Christmas sweatshirt embroidered is 2,000 monthly searches. Just Christmas sweatshirt right now is 3,000. This is obviously going to be significantly lower than it is later in the year. That's another great way to come up with your keywords for your listings. So the last thing of the big 3 is making sure you're including the necessary information in your listing. So when it comes to including the necessary information a customer need to know is first, specifically what product it is that you're selling. So are you selling the Gildan 18,000? What is it made out of? So that's materials. Customers like to know that. You can include all this information in your listing photos. Customers are much more likely to look at your listing photos than your description. The other great information is having a size chart, making sure they know how it fits, size recommendations, then lastly, production and shipping time. In our listing photos, I have a photo card that says our current production time and shipping time so that our customer can have an idea of exactly when they will be receiving their product. So you can include that information in your listing photos as well as in your description. And these are all things that you should be doing not only for preparation for the holidays, but just in general in order to have success on Etsy. Lastly is making sure that your shop is built out. Some huge things to be doing in your shop, I'll use this one as an example, is especially for the holidays. So making sure your banner looks really good. It's very accurate in information. It showcases your best-selling products. Also, for the holidays, I recommend including an order deadline date in your banner. I think that's very important to know for your customer, because in the past, we've had a lot of customers where they ordered after the deadline and they didn't receive their product in time and they were upset. So you have to make sure they know of the order deadline. You can do it in multiple ways. You can include it in all of your information, your banner, your listing photos, your description. You can also include it in an automated message. So once they purchase, they're aware of that deadline. And then another tip you can do is in your personalization section, when you're building out a listing, you can use that section for an order deadline date.
So we'll go back to our Etsy listings here. And again, we can bulk edit this so it makes it really quick and easy. So I just select all of my listings and then go to editing options, and then I'd hit edit personalization. And you'll see here it turns on personalization for all of my listings, and it's just as easy to turn it off if you need to. And what I'll do is I'll add my order deadline date here, and I'll require my customer to type in yes, saying they agree that if they've ordered after the order deadline date that they may not receive their order in time. Where it says instruction for buyers, I'll add my order deadline date here, and it reads, please type yes below to confirm. I understand that if I order after the holiday shipping deadline has passed, I may not receive this item before Halloween. Orders cannot be canceled once printing begins. And for character limit, I will change this to 3 so they can only type 3 characters. Otherwise, they could type whatever they like. And for personalization is optional, I'll make sure I have this turned off so that they are required to type in yes before checking out. So down here is an example of what it would look like. So you have add your personalization, and then my instructions for the order deadline date, and then the customer would have to enter in yes right here. So I'll go ahead and add this to all my listings by hitting apply right down here in the bottom right hand corner.
Other huge things to have to make sure that your shop looks very professional is making sure you have your shop policies built out, as well as your frequently asked questions. These are all things that customers can reference, and it makes your shop look more viable and builds trust between you and your customer. If you think about it, if you go into a physical store that has just a few products that they're offering, the shelves are empty, there's no information, you're not likely to trust that store. Whereas if you're to go into a store that is fully built out, has a ton of products, a ton of inventory, and all of the information that you need to know. So just to quickly review, big 3, high quality mockups, proven SEO, and then lastly, necessary info a customer would need to know. And on my channel, I dive deeper into all of these topics. So I recommend going to my channel, checking out those different videos, because I have videos specifically on these topics that will go into more depth for you so that you can really know how to do this the best in your store. Bonus information here is consider having a budget for ad spend. It's not required, but if you have the budget to spend money on ads, I highly recommend it in Q4 because it will be a great way to boost your listing and to maximize your sales because you have such a short window. And I recommend doing it on listings that are starting to sell well, or what you can do is spend whatever budget is, $5 a day, $20 a day. You can spend on all of your listings, see what listings perform well, and then you can then filter through your listings and only spend money on the listings that sell, and then just dump gasoline on the fire. It's such a great way to scale your listing and to have as many sales as possible. When it comes to holidays, it's so easy to get focused on specifically just creating designs for Halloween, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. You start to neglect the evergreen niches. And so when the holidays are over, your shop is just going to tank because you haven't been prepping for the coming year. So that's what's tricky with Etsy. There's never really a time to just coast. You have to always be thinking ahead, planning in advance, be strategic in order to succeed. So make sure while you're doing your holiday designs, you're also creating evergreen designs so that your store will continue to grow and scale after the holidays. Really, Q4 is such a great time on Etsy and on with any online business. And for us, as I mentioned before, it's always been the most lucrative time with our shop, and it's when we've done the best during the year, just because so many people come to Etsy for those specific holidays: Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. In preparation for the holidays, things I've already done and that I recommend you doing is making sure you're running all of your business expenses on a rewards card. I recommend getting whatever rewards card is best for you. For us personally, because we love traveling so much, we love the Capital One Venture card. It allows you to earn miles, and they have a great sign-up bonus, so you can get 75,000 miles when you sign up. Get whatever rewards card is good for you because it's just free money that you can earn, or free miles, or whatever it is that you want. There's a lot of great rewards cards out there. Capital One has a lot of great ones. Chase has a lot of great ones. Amazon has some. Apple. Just find one that works well for you and that is beneficial for you that you would use. But it's such a great way to earn free money on expenses that you already have to have with just fulfilling orders, buying mockups, subscriptions for design tools, keyword research tools, etc. If you don't have your own accountant, I recommend signing up for QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's what we use. It allows us to manage our expenses and our finances, allows us to keep track of all of our expenses and to stay on top of everything. And not only does it integrate with Etsy, but also come tax season, you can integrate this with TurboTax for filing taxes, which also makes it very easy if you don't want to pay for your own CPA. So I highly recommend it. That's what we use, both QuickBooks Self-Employed and TurboTax, and I can't recommend it enough. But everything that I briefly talked about today are all things that we have done to prepare for the coming months and that we have learned over the past few years of selling on Etsy, and that we have found to be the most useful and that I thought would be the most beneficial to share with you. I can't stress enough how exciting this time is to be preparing for the holidays and how important it is to be strategic in order to really maximize your time and to maximize your profits.